Hey guys, welcome to Be the CEO of Your Own Life podcast. I am Olga Lacroix. I'm your host. I'm a former therapist. I am a certified coach, executive and leadership coach. I am a mindfulness teacher. But the title that I love the most and that I carry with the most amount of pride is mother. I am a mom. I am a mom to an amazing 4-year-old who every day teaches me more and more about my purpose on earth. And by the way, I don't think my purpose is to be a mom. And my purpose is to help and to be of service. And he reminds me of that every single day with his beautiful heart and his creative imagination. On this episode, I want to talk about it's okay to not be okay. I spent my past few days coaching and returned to work. I've returned to work from the holidays, and I started coaching all my private clients, my women in the group Be the CEO of Your Life. And I realized that I spent a lot of time sort of holding space for my clients to not feel okay and having very little compassion for themselves because they were not feeling okay. When it's the start of the new year, there's this hype, there's this high energy, everybody's vibing, or it seems that way. You know, all the advertisement we see is like new year, new life, new you. And some of us are not feeling the hype, and some of us are not feeling the new anything. And we're in the thickness of maybe a dark space, and we're trying to climb up. And we think that because it's the new year, then that we should be up there already. And I thought, I spent so much time holding space and helping my clients find compassion for themselves that I am going to dedicate a full episode to the steps to create some compassion for ourselves when we are going through a stage of not being okay, whether that's emotionally not okay or physically or both. And I want to walk you through some of the mistakes that we normally make when we're feeling that way, that are so unhelpful, that keep us in the unwanted feelings a bit longer than we wish. I also want to remind you that there is another podcast titled What to Do When You're Feeling Blah, which it's a really helpful episode to listen to if this one speaks to you. Before we dive into the mistakes that we make when we're feeling not okay, I want to remind you that the doors are now open for my 12-week coaching program, Reset Your Mindset, exclusive for moms this time around. It is for all the mamas out there who are working or not working, who are working at home, not getting paid, and who are feeling stretched to the max, who are feeling that a sense of balance has to come in, where you're feeling that you need to find yourself again. What is it that you like? When is it that you find the time to do the things that you like? This particular round of reset, it is for the moms, the working moms, the moms who are feeling exhausted. Join us. We start on January 19th. We meet every Friday at noon Eastern time. And along with group coaching calls and meeting other amazing moms, and you're going to be able to hear basically how you feel and how you think in other people, other moms sharing their experiences, and you're going to see yourself in them. And you're going to see that in this space, it is so safe to be you. It is so safe to express and feel your emotions because we pretty much have them all the same. It is also going to normalize your experience, that sensation of not feeling good enough. Like you go to bed and you go over the day and you think, was I a good enough mom? Maybe I wasn't. And guilt creeps in. Or maybe you're spending too much time at work or not enough time at work, and you're spending too much time with your kids because they've been sick and you're feeling guilty about that. Or maybe you're letting your marriage slide because whatever, you've gotten used to being roommates, and right now they're like, marriage is not the priority. Yet marriage is so important to our overall well-being if we are in a committed relationship. When that's not working well, so many things are not working well. So this is a call out to invite you to not be passive about the lack of joy in your life. It is urgent that you do something about it. It is urgent that if you feel completely neglected and like you can't even think of the time to spend on yourself or the resources, money, and time, it is urgent. If that is you, it is urgent that you do something about it. And what a better place than a community of other working moms, of a coach who primarily is a mama, who knows exactly what you're feeling. I probably have felt it, or I am feeling it now. I understand how difficult it is to have many passions and still the same amount of hours as everybody else. I understand the ups and downs of having menstrual cycles and hormones and what happens when we're not at our highest and having all the pressures and ambition of your own ambitions. I get it. And there is a way. There is a way to make life easier for us. There is a way to show up to our own life as good moms, good wives, good to ourselves. Our personal development cannot be stagnant because then life becomes purposeless. You have nothing to lose by joining this program. You have everything to gain. And think to yourself, if in the next 12 weeks, one area of your life improves significantly, what will that mean to you? What would it mean to the people you love? Head over to the show notes or go to my website. Look for Reset Your Mindset. It is 12 weeks. We begin on January 19th. Every call is recorded. On top of weekly coaching calls, you also have weekly video teachings where you learn strategies on how to stop anxiety, how to stop overthinking, how to live intentionally, but not with expectations, how to communicate better. It is such a complete work. And it's only 12 weeks. So don't let anything stop you from showing up for yourself. All right, let's dive in. It's okay to not feel okay. I know in today's world, we only appreciate the good times, the happy times. I might have mentioned this in a previous episode, but something that I started this year is the tradition of going through my phone and going through all my photos month by month, selecting the ones that I love most and creating an album, photo album that I had already printed out. It cost me $100 and it has like 99 pages. Every month there were photos taken with my phone and I have printed them. And when I was doing that exercise, this was over the holidays when I found out my IVF hadn't worked and my heart was heavy into pain and disappointment. Maybe less disappointment, but definitely grief. And then I opened those albums or those photos and I had a perspective. It was almost like took a step back and I looked into my year from an outside perspective. And I realized that out of, those 100 pages, only one or two photos were about pain. Only one or two moments in my year were painful. And we all get to qualified pain, right? Like how painful was it? It doesn't matter. But what became evidently clear to me that the majority of my year were happy, normal, everyday moments. Suddenly I felt my life is abundant. So much is already here. So sometimes we get carried away by those moments of not feeling okay or having received not great news or, being in the thick of going through a health condition or a mental health episode or something that we feel like laser focused with our vision. All we can see is what's not working or what we don't have or what we're lacking or what's not what it used to be. And we lose the broader perspective of all the things that are exactly where they need to be, that are abundant on things, feelings that are working really well, that are healthy. It's not all of your body that is unhealthy. It's not every day that you're having episodes of anxiety. So I highly encourage you to take a step back right at this moment and have your year in review. What worked well? What were the blessings this year that you've received? What were the happy moments? And by the way, uneventful months are happy months, right? Where nothing happened. It means everybody was healthy, everybody was good, the routine was as normal. Those are happy moments. When we're in the stage of not feeling well for whatever the reason, we tend to make several mistakes. The first one is that we jump into fixing. Something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. This is not my normal me. I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. In that process, what ends up happening is that the little bit of energy you do have left to cope with what life is giving you that is difficult, you use it in fighting yourself, in fighting what has arrived. And then you become sick or exhausted or mentally drained. Then you can't think of better ways to think. Then you're like, unbeknown to you, in drama mode and making it even worse and victimizing yourself even more. Of course, this happened to me, you know? An automatic response, by the way, when your nervous system gets activated into flight or fight response, an automatic response is negative self-talk. It happens automatically. Your brain wants you to think that you can't survive so that you are even more alert. So when we're in these moments of not feeling good, don't fall for the mistake of fixing, because you are going to use the little bit of energy you have left to exhaust yourself, to run in circles. It is not working to get you out of where you are if you are in fixing mode, if you're trying to not feel, if you're trying to get yourself out of there. I'm just going to try to think positively. I'm going to try to do the things that I love. Hold on. There is a time for everything. And right now, it's not it. This is one of my reset teachings. When something happens, an event happens, sit in the mud. Feel the feelings. You're not going to die. In fact, you're going to process them. What your nervous system is telling you when you're not feeling well is that it's time to slow down and process, feel, talk about it, write about it. Resisting will only exhaust the little bit of energy you have left. Okay, so that's mistake number one. Mistake number two, we attach to a mental story. So we're notice we're not feeling well. We're like, it's the beginning of the year. I don't feel motivated. I've just come off being sick for a few weeks. Everybody was sick, or I was hosting too many parties and I am exhausted and I'm just not feeling the hype of the new year. I am not feeling like, woo, I'm ready for all my new conclusions and new goals. And I can't wait to be like, it exhausts me to even think about being better. I don't want to do anything. I have no energy. When you're there, another common mistake, aside from fixing, is making it mean something, adding meaning to it. There's something wrong with me. It must be that this is going to be a terrible year. Of course, poor me, this is happening to me and only me. Oh, I'm going to be the one at work who's never going to make it to whatever their goal is because this is how I'm starting the year. We attach a mental story to our already painful experience. I want to invite you to practice mindfulness here. Mindfulness will say, notice the sensations, notice the thoughts attached to nothing. Nothing. So come back to your present moment by noticing, my nervous system has been activated. I am on survival mode. I noticed. That's part of life. And I choose, in order to self-regulate my emotions, I choose to not assign any extra meaning to how I'm feeling. So if you are feeling anxiety, instead of thinking, of course I'm anxious, I have mental health issues, blah, 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 blah. You know the story that you tell yourself. Instead of going that way, go for something more general. Like, I'm having a moment of suffering. There is suffering going through my body. Suffering is part of life. I'm going to be kind to myself. Voila. Just like that. You interrupted going through mental drama, mental attachment to a story, to simply noticing something's off. Yeah, I can feel it. Something's off. This is a moment of suffering. Suffering is part of being alive. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to open space. The third mistake we make comes from mistake number one, when we're trying to fix, when we're trying to be like, there's something wrong with us. We cannot let something be wrong with us. I'm going to fix this feeling. I'm going to get out of here. We don't process. You don't give yourself permission to process or time. And instead, you completely ignore the current state of energy that you have and you add to your plate. Now you're going to go for a run. That's going to make you feel better. Now you're going to go ask, I don't know, for a promotion because maybe that's going to motivate you. You start just adding to your to-do list as though that was the key to get motivated. When your energy is low, when your nervous system is in survival mode, when you are assigning meanings to why you feel the way you feel, they're asking, why am I feeling this way? What's wrong with me? When you're there and you add things to your to-do list, you are definitely prolonging the state of not feeling well. You're ignoring what your nervous system is trying to message you, the message that it's giving you. Instead, I ask you to stay curious. I'm noticing this is happening to me. I wonder, what does my nervous system want me or needs me to do? I promise you the answer likely will not be, go to a comedy show and laugh. Maybe it will be. I don't know. But more times than not, what our nervous system needs us to do is to rest and digest, to deeply inhale, to give ourselves the time and the support to process. Normally, this is when I journal the most. I just want to empty my brain. I don't necessarily want to talk to anybody. I just want to be so aware. And I want to use this awareness in my favor. What's going on? What's going on is better than why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling like when you ask yourself the why I feel this way, you then have to defend yourself. But when you ask, what's going on with me? What's happening within me? What's happening in my environment? What am I feeling? Then you're just curious. Then you're just describing. You're creating awareness versus judgment. So don't try to add more to fix. Let yourself let your activities match your current level of energy. So if your energy tank has you at a 20%, do activities that match 20%. For example, lately I've been really gravitating towards coloring with my child. That's low energy. A lot less energy than building forts. A lot less energy than playing dinosaur or hide and seek. It matches my energy. So I am aware of where my energy level is at, and I am going to shift and adjust the things in my life at this moment. It is going to be short-lived. I know, because I've been here before. So have you. This isn't a forever. Now, if you've had depression before, I know your brain is going to tell you, oh no, this is the beginning of a depression. Now you're going to stay here forever. Especially if you've been depressed before. Give yourself permission to feel without attachment to a meaning, without giving it any meaning. If you have been depressed before, you know that you got out of there. You know more things that you knew then. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. So how can you give yourself permission to feel in accordance to the only way out of anything is by going through it? Also, remember that you grow. You grow every time you go through a moment of stagnation or not feeling well. There is growth happening, and growth comes with a bit of pain. So make it okay to not be okay. You yourself set the tone that it's totally fine that I'm not okay. It's totally fine that I don't feel like having sex or playing with my kid or going to the gym or seeing my friends or laughing out loud. If that's where you're at, make that be normal. Tell yourself it is normal. Don't try to justify or find out why you feel this way. Just normalize it already. Whatever it is, it's normal. But simultaneously, because this is the other mistake we make. You know how many people didn't sign up for the retreat that I hosted, 3-hour retreat on creating your best year because they were not feeling the hype yet? You don't have to feel all the motivation to start planning simultaneously. When at my lowest moments, that's when I start planning for brighter days. So I got organized. I am not in action, like I cannot execute right now. I don't have the energy to execute, but I have the perfect energy to plan for my future. So I got myself organized. Everything's in writing now. I thought about it in chunks of time. And you can do the same thing. You can, in those moments of not feeling well, plan for brighter days. Is when we can't move that we start wishing of all the things that we could do when we're moving, right? So yes, grab pen and paper and plan for better days. Plant new seeds. I got organized for my 12 weeks, right? Like, so what is it my goal for the next 12 weeks? Well, my long umbrella goal of the year is to be in alignment with my purpose, to feel my purpose in everything I do. From emails that I write to my social media engagement to the books I read and what I do with those books. I want so much purpose in my life. I'm calling purpose. And I realized that Q1, the first 12 weeks of the year, I needed to be really organized so that throughout the year, it's easy to file things, to move through without the obstacles that will clog my clarity, and I will easily lose track of my purpose. So step number 1 for me is to be organized. And what a better time to be organized than when I'm low energy. Perfect. I created files in my emails. I'm in the moment. If you were to see my office right now, piles of paper all over. I'm filing things from last year and a few years back. I am labeling my folders. I'm organizing a system of filing that makes it really easy. And that is what my energy is at. And that feels good. It's in alignment. I'm not asking myself right now to go and talk in front of 1,000 people and motivate them. That's not where I'm at. But I might be there in a few months. Guess what? While I'm feeling low, I'm taking notes of what it's like to not be okay so that I can talk and motivate people later. So do not just pack all your bags because you're in, the black hole and not see the gifts of this moment. And do not stop yourself from planting the seeds for the future, because the future is coming, whether you like it or not. And brighter days are coming, whether you believe it or not. So what are the steps that you can start doing? What seeds can you start planting that don't require more energy than you have? That could be you put your name in a list, in a waiting list to be coach, right? You might not have the energy right now, but later. That might be that you sign up yourself for a course of something that you really wanted to learn that starts in a few months, or you start researching where that's going to be, how you do that. Bottom line, my friends, it's okay to not be okay. And just like you cannot rush a caterpillar to become a butterfly, you cannot rush your emotional processing. It takes the time that it takes. And when my people ask me, but how long? I don't know. All I know is that the more you resist it, the longer we'll be here. We all want to get out of those moments. I get it. And we all want the happy moments to last forever. I get it. I'm human too. But the sooner we can give ourselves permission to be fully, and I mean fully present for either of those experiences, the faster we process when it's not good, and the more we deeply enjoy when it's good. It's just such a beautiful way to go about our lives, your life. So this is a pick me up reminder that it's okay to not be okay. Don't make those moments worse than what they already are with your judgment, assigning meaning and wanting to fix it, exhausting yourself, or avoiding your current state of energy and adding more. Just don't do that. You're not helping. Make a vow to be helpful to yourself and start by normalizing all of your emotions. They're just emotions. We are the ones who assign the label good, bad, medium. I invite you to just let all emotions be emotions, neutral. What would change? I've been a student and a teacher of mindfulness for many years now. And this continues to be one of my favorite teachings and lessons received. All emotions are neutral. Thoughts are just thoughts. Neither one of those define you. You are a separate entity. You are the observer of these things happening within you, that they're not you. So take a deep inhale, my friends, and allow whatever is happening to you to be here. We talk about letting it go. I want you to think about letting it in. I'm going to let in this discomfort or this pain or this grief. I'm going to let it in. I sincerely hope this is helpful to you. This is what I spent my past few days coaching clients on. You know what's interesting about being a coach or a therapist? It happens equally. I find that there are weeks where everybody has the same themes. I'm like, oh my God, you too? I was just coaching somebody else on that. And that's normally when I come and do a podcast, when it's been more than one person that I coach in the same subject, different issues or different, players in their story, but it's the same theme. And this particular past few days, that was the theme. I'm like, wow, I'm going to do a podcast about it. So hopefully this touches you. If not now, eventually. By the way, that is one of the reasons I love group coaching, because it's not me telling my client, hey, a lot more people feel that way. Trust me, I hear it. But it is them hearing a lot more people talking about it. I can't not tell you what it does to the human mind and soul and emotional well-being to see yourself in others, to be like, oh my God, your husband does that too? That bothers you too? Woof, we're normal, you know? Because in our own heads, we think that we're the only ones who struggle with that. We're the only ones who think that way. We're the only ones who loses their mind. We think something's wrong with us, especially if we live with people who don't think like us, who don't respond to things like we do. Then we're like, oh my God, I'm the only one who thinks this way. But darling, there's so many people outside of your own little world that think and feel like you are feeling right now. Collectively, it's okay to not feel okay. And collectively, we feel that way, even if nobody says it. When you're standing next to somebody who's describing exactly what you're feeling or thinking, and you're like, oh God. I can't tell you how many times I hear my group clients say to one another, thank you for sharing that. That speaks so much to me. That's exactly what I've been feeling. I started a new program called The Practice for anybody who's ever done any work with me, whether that's been one-on-ones or group work or counseling. Doesn't matter when you work with me or how long, you're welcome to join The Practice. It is $99 a month, and it gives you access to one coaching call as a group and a hub where we can just share as community wins and have journaling questions. And I just started it, and we had the first call, and I heard that phrase so many times. People were like, thank you for bringing that up. That reminds me, I need to do some work on these. Or thank you so much for saying that you're pissed off. That's exactly how I've been feeling all along. Wow, I'm not alone. Just that made each person feel so much better. And it gave me a feeling that I'm doing the exact same thing that I'm supposed to, bringing people together to normalize their human experience. Anyways, so the practice is now open. You can sign up anytime. There is no starting or end date. We meet monthly, the second Monday of the month. We record those calls. It is such a beautiful space for community and for coaching. So if you're feeling like you need community and that you've done some work with me and you like the work you've done, and it fits your budget, $99 a month, come join us. Link will be in my bio as well, in the show notes, and in my website. Okay, talk to you guys soon. Bye now.